How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you an update on Andrew Gillum, who was the Tallahassee, Florida mayor from 2014 to 2018, and who also could have become Florida's current governor, but he lost by 1 percentage point to Ron DeSantis, who is doing a bang up job down there. Now, I did a video about Gillum a few days ago where I spoke about his little incident down there in a Miami, Florida hotel room. It's a Thursday night, 1 o'clock in the morning. The police get called to the hotel to do a welfare check. Once they get to the spot and they come in, they discover a disturbing scene. You have DeSantis, inebriated, quote unquote drunk. We'll get to that in a minute. Throwing up, can't really say too much to the police. He's out of it. There's another guy there who apparently was having the meth overdose, and he was treated for the overdose at that particular point in time. There was another guy that was there. I'm not sure if he was drinking, drugging, or whatever these guys were doing, but he was there. Now, for some reason, Gillum was allowed to go home. I'm not sure how that worked out because Gillum said later that he was in Miami for a wedding. I'm like, okay, if you were allowed to go home or if you were escorted home by the police, where did you go? You were the mayor of Tallahassee, so did you go to a house in Miami? If you went to a house you own in Miami, then why couldn't you just stay in your house in Miami for the wedding? Is there a wedding at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night? I don't think so, but I digress. I gave you all I had back then in that particular video, but now I have more information. Not only was Gillum in the hotel inebriated, he probably was on drugs as well. There's pictures. I'm not going to place all the pictures on the screen because this is a family-friendly show, but I'm going to give you a general snapshot of what's happening on the screen before you. You see Gillum on the ground. He appears to be laying in his own vomit. He does not have a shirt on. In the full video, he's totally naked. I'm talking about birthday suit. You understand what I'm saying? There's pills everywhere. Somebody had what appeared to be a mobile pharmacy full of drugs. You know, erectile dysfunction stuff that you got to inject. So they're in there banging needles, popping pills, drinking, drugging, a whole lot of stuff was going on in that hotel room. Now, the person that allegedly had the meth overdose was a well-known gay escort. He's already come out and said what he is. He said he was there in the hotel room. He's on social media, so it's no secret. It's not a rumor. It's not an allegation. He was there. There's documents, paperwork, all of that is out there. Well-known gay escort, right? Gay male escort. Now, the other guy, I'm not really sure why he was there. Was he engaging in the festivities that Gillum and the boy were having? When I say boy, I don't mean boy, I mean a man, but you know, I'll move on. Anyway, I think he was the guy that purchased the room for the transaction to happen, and he may have gone there to see what was going on and check on him. He probably called the police to say, hey, something's wrong. Now, Gillum is married with 3 kids, 3 or 4 kids. He has a whole family. He's like 40 years old. He appears to be a family man, stand-up guy, all this, that, and the third. Now, when the news broke that he was found in the hotel room, he said, I was drunk, I was going to a wedding, all this, that, and the third. And I think the next day or a couple of days later, he said he was going to a rehab facility to get himself back together and to fix an addiction. But I'm like, okay, that's kind of confusing when I heard it because what I know now was not revealed. All I knew is that he was in the room inebriated, could have been drunk, could have been high or whatever. I'm like, all right, why would you go to rehab for drinking a little bit too much on a Thursday night? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. There's not been any allegations of him being drunk or anything before, so why now? What was going on in the hotel room is that Andrew Gillum was living a double life. That's what's going on. This ain't the first time he's been accused of doing a thing like that. There were some suspect pictures of him before this whole incident. Not anything, above rated PG. It's just him kind of sitting there in some way too high shorts with another guy. Just the look on his face and the way that his body language does not denote family man, wife, kids. It doesn't really denote that. It denotes, I don't know. You have a different life when you're around certain men than when you're around your wife. Now, personally, if you want to be gay, if you want to, have these wild trysts in the hotel room with your partner, that's your business. I don't care. But a couple of things here. Number one, Andrew Gillum is not publicly homosexual and you got a wife and kids. So do they know that you are doing this kind of stuff and this dangerous behavior? This is how HIV transmits. Yes, I said it because obviously in the gay community, there's a high prevalence of HIV. Look on TV, you see medication commercials for people with HIV, the PrEP and stuff like that. When I was in LA, I saw that HIV commercial like every 5 minutes. And it was directed towards the LGBT community because they have a higher prevalence of it. My uncle died of HIV when I was like 6 or 7 and he was gay. Also, he was on drugs. That's a different story. I might put it in the book. Anyway, I've had firsthand experience with this kind of thing. So if you are engaging in that kind of crazy behavior, meth, pills, you and they're banging needles, doing things secretly. If you're doing that kind of stuff, you're putting your wife in danger. You're putting your kids in danger. Okay, that's the main thing. Now, will it be able to bounce back from this? I don't think so. If he were just gay, like let's say he was a bachelor, didn't have no kids, and he came out and said I was gay, nobody would care. Nobody would care about him being gay. It's not even about that. It's about you got a wife and kids, you're a liar, living a double life, and you're around drugs and stuff like that. Even if you were gay and you wouldn't have this kind of fling with a man in a hotel room, I mean, you got to be responsible. You can't be out here banging needles and smoking and snorting meth. That's not legal. That's not right. All right. So that's the main thing. You live in a dangerous lifestyle. What if he were to be the governor? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if he were the governor? If he was a current right now sitting governor of Florida, it'd be, man, he would have to get removed from office. It'd be this whole big crazy mess. I mean, this right here is an impeachable offense if he were in office. Thank God that he's not in office because I feel for all his constituents. I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican. That'd be terrible to have a guy like that in office. So the update is he was not just in there drunk or whatever. He's butt naked. And the other guy allegedly was butt naked too. You hired this guy from a male renting website. I will not say the website here. This is not an ad, so I digress. You hired this man from a website. You hired a male prostitute. You're in there with all kind of drugs. You're drinking. It's the middle of the night. Thursday talking about I was at a wedding. I was just drunk. That's all lies. You're living a double life. Hopefully his family is okay. Okay, you got kids. They got to see this. Your wife got to see this. Maybe she knows about it. Maybe she don't. I have no idea. But the kids should not have to be dealing with this kind of stuff. They got to go to school and their classmates see this man butt naked on their TV. It's not right at all. This is why I say, if you want to have that kind of lifestyle, if you want to be out living on the edge or whatever, be honest. Whatever you do in your life, just be honest. Don't be a liar because it ain't just you got to be concerned about. When you got a wife, kids, a whole 9 yards, people that look up to you, you got to be honest for them as well. If you don't want to be accountable for anybody else, just be alone, be a bachelor. Don't, have any kind of interactions, and it's okay. There's nobody else you got to look out for or think about when you do a particular thing like this. So I think it was selfish. I think it was crazy and also dangerous. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Andrew Gillum was set up here? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. I have seen those comments. People said that, oh, he was drugged. He didn't know what was going on. First of all, why would you be in that hotel room at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday? What reason do you have to be there, period? I don't care if it's just, if you drinking, drugging, all your clothes. What reason you had to be there? That's your fault for being there. And okay, let's say you got drugged. Who drugged him into the hotel room in the first place? Who took his pants off, made him get butt naked, huh? Was he not set up here? Was it just his doing? He's the guy that decided to lie about being at a wedding. He was one that decided to live a double life, wife and kids, cheat on them with this gay male escort, banging needles, snorting meth, drinking, vomiting, the whole 9 yards. The hotel totally was a mess. I mean, I got a link in the box for more pictures, but it was nasty. I mean, if you can imagine what's going on with these two men in the hotel room on drugs, you can imagine how the hotel room looked. It was a total mess. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.